Hello, YouTube friends. It is yours truly here to answer bigstar1000's fine wine thread. Great idea for a thread, and just to give it my 2 cents, I'm pretty flexible. If you want to ask 5 questions, if I like them, I'll answer them. If it's just one, that's fine too. Either way is fine. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Live and let live. That's where Dereck is at. Live and let live. So I like this question because we do buy records, and we don't always absorb what we get. And so I want to share a few where this has definitely been the case. Back in the 70s and 80s, I was really into fusion as well as punk. And besides John McLaughlin, Jean-Luc Ponty made a big influence on me. So I looked for other violinists as well and found one who's nothing like Ponty, but just as dynamic, just as fantastic. And that's a Polish jazz musician named Michael Urbanek. And this is the one that I was looking for that I found was called Fusion, which I love. But then I bought this one just as part of the collection, but never really paid much attention to it. I recently pulled this out, and this is really excellent. And what I like about it is that while it is a jazz fusion record, it also is slightly progressive. Like the first track, you know, within the first 2 minutes, here's this mellotron, fusion, wait. And it does. It takes kind of a detour where you're thinking it's just going to be straight fusion jazz. It gets into kind of a prog rock thing. This is an excellent, excellent album that I would highly recommend to folks who are interested in all things fusion and prog. You know, again, he plays the violin, but there is no comparison to Jean-Luc Ponty at all. They're both great violinists. Matter of fact, this album, does this feature 2 violinists? No, it's another one of his that I have. I was getting mixed up with this one. Okay, but his wife, Ursula Dudzak, is also an amazing vocalist who sings on this album, does some really interesting things with the voice. Along those lines, I'm going to do this because the dog next door is cranking up. It's interesting how when I'm home doing something that the dog will start this incessant howling while his master is away. It seems like he can... Isn't that pathetic? It's like he can feel me over here because his masters are not at home and he's all alone. Anyway, here we go. Can't remember how I discovered this record, but I found this album by guitarist Michael Bierillo. He was in a band called the Bird Songs of the Mesozoic in the 80s, who I never had anything by, but I remember the name of the band. But this is an album called Lifelines, and it's primarily solo guitar work. This is just a beautiful, beautiful record. Now, the thing was, when I bought it, I think I bought it in a group of records cheaply, because it was on a small label. I kind of liked the cover and the sparseness of the graphics. And I guess I played it, but didn't really make an impression. This year I played it several times and have used it as background music to one of my more recent videos. It's just beautiful. Just beautiful guitar playing. Really atmospheric, quiet, ambient, just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work. Another record that I bought when it first came out on CD, I bought it because the person had been in the band Clan of Zymox, and I liked the first Zymox records really well. And when he put out a solo album on 4AD, well, I was in the habit at that time of pretty much whatever 4AD put out, I tried to get it. And so I bought Sleeps with the Fishes by Peter Newton and Michael Brook right away, loving the graphics and also liking the music, but not really absorbing it. It wasn't until much later that I really took the time to really absorb this recording. And this is a beautiful, chill, ambient, almost gothic sounding album. It's a good example of where the music is lovingly recorded. It's crystal clear. There's an organic quality to it, as well as electronic, and the way that the sounds are put together, you know, the way that you can hear the room that the drums are in, and the just the natural way that cymbals dissipate when you hit them, along with the crispness of the electronic sounds used. This is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful album. Peter Newton and Michael Brooks, Sleeps with the Fishes. This is one that definitely got better with age. Couple more. Another one that definitely has gotten better with age is Release Music Orchestra, Get the Ball. And I bought this years ago primarily because it's on the Brain label. Um, I like labels. When I first bought it, I kind of liked it, but thought it was slightly cheesy, to be honest. This has aged really well and has really kind of come into, for me, I understand now and really love the vibe of this music and this kind of jazz. It's kind of like Embryo, but a little more fusiony. But it still has that ragged kind of worldliness of Embryo as well. And the drummer's really good too. So this is one that I discovered later, years later. A really, really good German jazz rock album. Now here's one that I liked it when it first came out, but one particular song I liked. And it's been over time that I've discovered how good the whole album is, and that's Theme of Secrets by Eddie Jobson. Eddie Jobson, as some of you know, was in the band Curved Air. He was in Roxy Music, and he was also in UK. He was kind of a prodigy. He was a teenager, I believe, when he first started out in Curved Air, or Roxy Music, whichever band he started with. But he went on to make this early example of what they call New Age music for the private music label. Once again, that is an inappropriate term for this music. This is just incredibly beautiful digital synclavier based music. Simply beautiful. And the cover colors capture the timbre of this music. This music sounds like those colors and that sky. Masterful work. Just played this last night on the new system. It's like my stereo is new now with those speakers, and it just glistens. This is definitely improved with time for my taste. Oh, one more because the dog is just making me insane. I just bought this not that long ago, REM Collapse Into Now, and there was something about the cover that just let me know that this is going to be good. Every time I put this on, folks, this record is really good, and I know that REM are old like me, and so they're not fashionable anymore, and they're not, okay, that's my comment. What I'm saying is, if you ever liked REM, really, this new album is dynamic, fantastic. Let's see, a couple songs that I really love are Uberlin and All the Best off of here. Just dynamite. I find myself singing along with Michael Stipe, and grabbing for the lyrics. What's he saying? I want to sing along because it's so good. Big Star 1000. I love your vibe. Your bold, bodacious personality of a person, and I relate to that as well. And I digs you, man. And I don't know if I'll ever get to Australia. It's one place I haven't been. I'd love to visit, and one of my first stops would be your place, man. Thanks for the thread.